Okay, we're on the projects. It's Project D for Math 121. Um, it says over here, again, years ago I gave this problem to my students. Suppose that y is a function of x. It goes on over here is a function that satisfies this equation for all real numbers, x and y. Furthermore, is given that blah, blah, blah. Students are asked to find f of 0, f prime of 0, f prime of x. Here's the work, all right? So the expectation is, not for me to just talk about this, but it's for you to do the problem. Right? I say, do it by hand. So the critical thing here is that when you're given a problem, whether it's difficult or not, I would say the first thing to do is approach the problem is with paper and pencil. Try to understand what you're reading. Try to understand what you're reading. Does that take time and effort? It does. But if your first inclination is, I'm going to go to a computer and wonder if it can do the question, you're really losing the point of what we're asking you to do. We're asking to understand, reason through the problem. And you know what? After you've done all that, paper and pencil work, I don't mind people going to a computer, but the computer is the last thing on your list when you get a problem. The first thing would be think about it, paper and pencil, working through the problem. But here's the deal. When I present this to students, I also present work to them, and this is my thought process going through that. Again, your expectation here is you read through that as well and try to make sense out of it. It's not a difficult question, by the way. It does require knowledge of calculus to get through it, though. All right, what I want to do is I want to get to the code, though. And again, the expectation is you read through my work, or you did your own work, come up with the same conclusion I'm coming up with. All right? I want to get to the sage part of it, though. All right, we'll talk about this one step at a time. Let's get to the sage part. That's our goal over here. Let me clear the screen. And I'm running Sage on my computer. And I'm going to type reset. I always do that, by the way. I shouldn't say always. I try to always do that. And then I'm going to define three variables, x, y, and an uppercase C. And what's that going to be? It's going to be variables. And those variables are the variable x, the variable y, and the variable C. All right, that's done. And then I'm going to define a function, f of x, and that function is, let's put it down for you, it's being assigned x cubed, let's see, divide by 3, plus x, plus c. All right, I think I did okay. And then, this thing will complicate over here, but it wants me to solve something. And someone says, what's this all about? Now, if you've given this no thought, well, we put it over here, this would never come up. It just wouldn't come up. So I want to point out, after all my thought, this was my thought over here. I got this, at all that work, I got this at the end of it, all right? And what are we trying to do? Just find the value of C. That's what we're trying to do now, right? How do I do that? I'm really trying to solve the original problem, which is this guy over here. I'm trying to solve it. So what do? Well, I pop it in. Let's put that down for you. And certainly I know what f is. I'll write this down, and y is a function of x now. So I'm really going to type this in over here. Let me go back to my Sage thing. And then what? Plus x star, parentheses, f of x squared, comma, for the letter C. C is equal to 0, all right? Now we found the function, by the way. So let me point out what we did over here. I know it's confusing, but here's the problem. If you are in such a rush that you're looking at this, you don't read this, you don't understand this, but you cut to the chase and say, you know what am I supposed to do? Type this code in. You have learned absolutely nothing about what this particular project is teaching you. Your goal is to work on the projects in such a way that they make sense to you. That it's not busy work of typing code in. But if it's busy work of typing code in, I want to be honest with you, it's going to be a very unproductive experience. By what I mean by that, your entire educations will be an unproductive experience. You got to start thinking. But anyway, going back over here, the original problem was this one over here. And they gave me two conditions, by the way. And I eventually got to a function, but I didn't know what the C was. And then I figured it out by using Sage to do that. Because at this point, I need to do some Sage code. And I did that toward the end. What I type in, let's go through that. Let me open it up for you. Remember, y is a function of x. What's the function? This is the function. This is what y is. Y is equal to this over here. And I just typed it in. What I type in, f of x plus y, well, y is f of x. That is the same thing as f of x plus f of y. I write that down over here. Remember, y is f of x. That's what's over here. Plus x squared times y. What's y? Y is f of x. All right? And then plus x times the function squared. And I want to solve for c. I didn't know what c was. And now I know c is equal to 0. So now I know what the function is. And what's the function? This is the function. It's x cubed over 3 plus x. That's the function. Now granted, let me repeat this. If you're looking at this problem over here and you think the goal is to get the function, you're right. But the goal is there's something in between the presentation of the problem and the goal. And that's called the work. The work is where you're learning. Without the work, the goal is pointless. All right, thank you.